To Dr. Montgomery, I had a question for you. We've heard a lot about price impact, and recognize myself for 5 minutes, I apologize. We heard a lot about price impact and investments in various industries. If there is a overabundance of supply of natural gas in the United States, will that erode capital investment in production within the United States of natural gas?
Yes, the investment and the exploration and production moves very directly with the price of natural gas. If we find ourselves again with a glut of natural gas, it could lead to collapses temporarily, as we actually probably saw a couple of years ago. $2 per million BTU price of natural gas were, I think, largely driven by overextension of production on leases that had to be drilled. But it's all a matter of degree. As we see additional demand for natural gas exports coming into the market, that will bring forth production. I will let EIA defend its own record. I think that Mr. Dietzel seems to forget that every forecaster misses precise numbers. The point is that EIA has done a very good job, on average, of keeping up with what we are thinking, with kind of current thinking about the future. But we followed EIA's resource characterization and supply curves, and what they have concluded, and this is new in the AEO 2013 and even more so in 2014, is that we can produce a lot more natural gas without the price going up very much. That's what keeps the price of natural gas down. That's why we can get, in most cases, an additional 4 or 5, 6, 8 TCF of natural gas with less than a $1 increase in the world oil price. It's because production responds very aggressively to the new demand, and it doesn't take much of a price increase to get enough natural gas produced to satisfy all of that demand.
And Dr. Montgomery, Dr. Orban, I think this question could be addressed to both of you. In your testimony, when you talk about Russia, you say monopolists can be restrained as effectively by potential competition as by actual production by their rivals. Can you please talk about that in more detail?
Yes. We have many examples in the United States and overseas of companies which could be which may be the largest incumbents in a market, but as long as they can see that there are competitors ready and waiting to come into the market with the capacity to meet their price or to provide supplies at competitive prices, then that is going to discipline their pricing. We call it a limit pricing phenomenon. Don't price higher than any higher than what it takes to bring somebody else into the market and take it away from you. I think that's exactly what we see with Russia. But what's critical to it is that there not be this overhanging risk that all of a sudden an administration will decide, nope, that's enough exports, and cut them off before enough exports can flow to take the market away.
Dr. Orban, and I want to add to that question, have you or your government experienced any issues with Russian energy supplies? And if you could, please explain that.
As you know, there was a case in 2009, which received also a lot of media attention, where for less than 2 weeks the supply was stopped entirely on the Ukrainian pipeline system, which caused serious shortages in Central Eastern Europe. It affected the different countries differently. Some countries had very severe problems, like Slovakia or Bosnia-Herzegovina or Bulgaria. Many countries needed to shut down industries, but there were also countries where households, where residential heating was affected. After 2009, regional, state level, as well as the European level, we introduced numerous measures, and we built numerous new infrastructure to prepare for a potential new crisis situation, to be able to assist each other based on the principle of solidarity, as well as to sustain if there is a serious crisis for a longer period.
And the ability for the United States to export LNG, of course, would help mitigate that as well.
That would absolutely. As I explained, what we need is build the internal capacity. The pipeline system and the internal infrastructure in Europe is lagging behind that of the United States. That's our homework. We are doing that. The other which we need is the extra volume to create the gas-to-gas competition in the market, and that's where the United States could be essential.
Mr. Dietzel, is it a fair assumption to say that the manufacturing renaissance in this country is because of the price of energy and the abundance of energy supply in this nation?
Absolutely.
Are you concerned that a lack of opportunity to export will impact investments within energy and drive energy prices up because of a lack of investment in the energy sector, as wells are shut in and production is decreased because of that issue?
My concern is that with unlimited LNG exports, it will raise domestic gas prices to a point that will close and the manufacturing renaissance.
Dr. Montgomery, what do you say to those who say that talk about the levels, if there's no limit, that the levels will be unlimited?
You have to find a buyer. And the U.S. is not going to find buyers for gas at the levels that Mr. Dietzel is assuming. You simply have to look at supply and demand in the global market. And there are far too many countries out there who could beat us by several dollars a million BTU in delivering gas if our wellhead price was $10. We can't find a scenario in which we sell gas at $10 a million BTU because nobody in the world wants it at that price.
Thank you. And my time has expired.